I think one of the main reasons why mythology was chosen is because Norse mythology has a ton of lore to it. It's crazy wide in diversity. Everything exists for a reason, and it's explained in the most creative ways and the most interesting ways, I think.
I think for me, one of the most interesting things about Norse mythology is that in a way it's very dark. Old Scandinavian people had very hard lives. It was very cold. You had to live through these freezing winters, kind of like here in Quebec. Their gods and their mythology really reflects that tough, harsh reality. The gods sometimes are not fair, or very vain, or they'll take advantage. I think the quirkiness of it and the uniqueness of it is really what appealed to me personally.
We started with the basics of Norse mythology. The first thing you see when you load the game is Ginnungagap, which is the void. It was there before anything in Norse mythology. It was the beginning of time, but also nothing. Then there was Muspelheim and Niflheim.
Niflheim is the world of ice, and Muspelheim is a world of fire. And eventually both of them clashed together, and this is what created the world, living creatures.
Yggdrasil is the world tree, which is basically what holds the 9 worlds together. It is the universe. It's located in Ginnungagap.
Obviously, because of time, we couldn't work with the 9 realms, but we took the 5 realms that we thought was going to be the most interesting ones. Because it's a video game and because we needed to create something new and interesting for the player and something that isn't overcomplicated, we decided to create some kind of universe that is inside Ginnungagap. There's going to be a lot of small elements from the mythology that you can see throughout the game. It's also, I think, a good way for people to learn more about it while doing something fun.
We pretty much gave hints on everything we wanted to touch but didn't have time to explore in the game.
We want you to discover these mysteries, and then you see something in the game and you're like, whoa, what is that? Why is there a giant dwarf holding up a skull? Well, we're going to tell you a little bit about what that is in the game, but we don't want to overload you with too much information, and I think it's a great gateway to the actual mythological texts also.
It was really nice to have a female protagonist for a game. I think it's a really nice change. Tora is also a really strong-willed character. There's a pattern that fits Tora really well. It's to overcome something that's bigger and stronger than you. She was Sagan-born, and she always needed to prove herself to her father, be a warrior.
Her design actually didn't take that long to come up with. It was really all about making her look burly and tough. Like she could actually lift her own axe, which is a giant double blade axe. I call her a tiny meat bun because she's probably 5'5" and just a pack of muscles. Her cape is a bear skin that she killed while she was alive and she kept forever. It was really important for us to keep it at the same time
close to what the Vikings
as close
were.
to what the Vikings were, but adding a little fantasy, or otherwise it would have looked like every other Viking design.
Because there's 100 gods in Norse mythology, we decided to pick the ones that people could know of, even though they don't know a lot about mythology. So as you can see, all of the gods we decided to use during the game are all gods that make sense for a video game. It's all abilities that are going to help you fight a Jotun.
The design for the gods was actually pretty straightforward. The longest part was to research their appearance. It's never been written very clearly and very specifically because Norse mythology was an oral tradition and it was very tough to find anything substantial.
There's several kind of giants in Norse mythology. They all live in Jotunheim.
Jotuns in actual Norse mythology are not elementals. We wanted to make them look very connected to their own world, like they belonged there. There were a lot of creative liberties that we had to take for Jotun because obviously the story is centered around Thora, which is not a character that exists in actual Norse mythology. We tried to make it as true to Norse mythology as we could.
All of us did a lot of research on the mythology. We actually went to the point of like reading the Poetic Edda. If one of our players is a hardcore mythology fan and is wondering what that creature is doing there, don't worry, carry on with the game. It's all done on purpose.